She gave $30 to a street girl, and 12 years later, a millionaire rang her doorbell. Sienna Thompson, a simple meatpacking worker, gave her last bit of change to a hungry street child. But when Sienna was having her worst day 12 years later, a millionaire knocked on her door, and what happened next changed her life forever. But who was it? Sienna and her husband, Howard, moved in together and went about their daily lives. Sienna continued to work her stressful job as a meatpacker. Later, they were blessed with a baby girl, Ashley. She was a beautiful, healthy girl who had come to brighten their lives. However, Howard's passing impacted their lives immensely. The future of her daughter was indeed sealed. She sometimes cried in the bathroom at work whenever she thought of how many opportunities her daughter would miss because of that misfortune. She didn't know it yet, but one of her good deeds from the past was about to catch up to her. Someone knocked on her door on August 15, 2019, after all hope had been lost. When Sienna opened it, she saw a young woman who was well-dressed and attractive. It all started when, on her way into the subway to work one morning, a thin, pale girl ran into Sienna. She appeared ill and terrified. She hadn't eaten in a day. She asked for some change. Most likely because she was embarrassed by what she was doing, she spoke quickly and softly. Sienna searched for the young girl's mom or father. However, she was being separated from everyone else. The starving girl in front of them was completely ignored by everyone in the carriage as they went about their business. She observed the girl as she lay on her stomach with her arms crossed. Sienna felt frustrated about the young lady. Sienna opened her wallet to track down $30 and a couple of coins. She gave over the $30 and the 2 sandwiches she had brought from home to eat during her breaks. Because she would eat later at home, she could go hungry that day. The humiliated young woman drew nearer and took the cash and snacks. She checked out at Sienna with tears in her eyes and moaned a genuine thank you. "I'll pay you, all right? I promise," the girl said as she got out of the subway. That day, Sienna worked hard despite her hunger. She might have gone to the flask and purchased a bite. However, she had given the youngster all her cash. She could use the remaining change to pay for her trip home. Despite the fact that she was exhausted and hungry, she regretted absolutely nothing about her activities. As a matter of fact, she spent the remainder of the day trusting that everything had worked out positively for the young lady. Fanny, the kid she met on the tram, had a troublesome home life. Her parents battled with substances and liquor and burned through the greater part of the day, unmindful of the fact that they had a girl at home. However, the young girl envisioned a better future for herself. She didn't have the foggiest idea how she'd arrive, yet she realized it was feasible. Sienna was all the while working at the meatpacking plant for the following 12 years, yet she had been advanced 2 times. She presently had somewhat more cash and had gotten back somewhat before. Ashley had a couple of roller skates and would ride them around the neighborhood with her school companions each evening. Yet she chose to race one more cohort and wound up stumbling on a break in the blacktop, landing hard on her head and back. After what happened to Howard, Sienna was terrified of hospital doctors. The specialist gathered the upset mother to his office and quietly made sense of the fact that Ashley would be fine. However, she had seriously harmed her spine by striking her head and back on the floor. The girl probably wouldn't be able to walk anymore as a result. There are fantastic surgeons in the city who spend significant time doing this sort of spine recreation. Once more, Ashley could walk. The issue is that these medicines were costly. It was nearly 30 days before Ashley was released from the medical clinic. She needed to use a wheelchair to get around and acknowledge that she had become physically disabled. Just to settle her well-being, the medical clinic bill had been extremely high. This debt diminished Sienna's capacity to pay for further developed care for her girl. She had spent years saving everything she could to pay her bills, keep her daughter receiving primary care, and pay off the hospital's debt. Ashley grew up in a wheelchair and became a more beautiful young lady, while Sienna made sacrifices. It broke the girl's mother's heart to see how sad she was, so she started an online fundraising campaign. The cash would all go towards Ashley's restorative medical procedure. Sienna believed that it was over and that there was nothing more she could do. Until August 15, 2019, when all hope was lost. Someone knocked on her door. At the point when Sienna opened it, she saw a young lady who was fashionable and appealing. An extravaganza vehicle was left in the carport behind her. "Hello," the mysterious young woman continued, "I'm sure you won't recognize me, but I promised you something a while back." She then took out her wallet, which held $30. She took out the notes and gave them to Sienna. Sienna realized everything at that point. She looked into the young woman's eyes, and the embarrassed expression from years before had vanished.